Good morning, everyone. I hope you are having the best day ever, that it is beautiful wherever you are in the world. We have got another delicious day here in Hobart. Yesterday, I think it hit 28. It was reported that it was going to be 30. But I think we got all the way up to 28. So we hung out at the beach for a little while and had a bit of a cool down, which was fabulous. And we haven't done for a while. And we've been absolutely busting to do because this year was meant to be all about beaches. It was meant to be going to as many different beaches as we possibly could. That was going to be our year, traveling around Australia, seeing as many different beaches as we possibly could. So it has been a really prolonged visit to the beach. So yesterday we finally got there and had loads of fun and reminded, just how much we actually do love the beach and how much we actually long to live right near a beach. And that's part of one of my big dream goals is living right near a beach. So I thought I would come and talk with you today about Divinely Nourished and what we're doing in Divinely Nourished and all of the things. So Divinely Nourished, if you don't yet know, is the course that I'm launching at the moment, and it is the same title as my book. So I'm launching the course as a bit of a research for my book, the book that I'm writing at the moment, which is all about the mindset behind eating, the mindset about how we actually eat, and the ideas, the philosophies, all of the stuff that goes into why we choose the food that we actually eat. Because what I can tell you from a practitioner point of view is I can create the most amazing diet for you. I've done it for myself. I can create the most amazing things for you, and I can tell you exactly what it is that you need to eat for your body, how to eat it, which bits to start with first, food combining, all of that sort of stuff. I can tell you all of that information, but at the end of the day, if you don't do it, you're not going to receive the benefits from it. So if you don't actually take the action of eating that food and preparing it in the way that it needs to be prepared, if you don't do that, you won't receive the physical benefits of it. The other element of that is, why are you not taking the action? And so Divinely Nourished for me is really about helping you learn and unpack and understand why you're not taking the action that you could be taking or should be taking or want to even be taking, but you're not doing it. You're moving into the pathways of self-sabotage. You're doing all of those types of things. And that's where the idea of Divinely Nourished came from my own experience as well, of realizing, why am I not taking the actions? I know all the things, why am I not taking the actions? And connecting in with, what's really happening here is I'm bashing myself up, or I'm banging up, or I'm bumping up against all of these beliefs that I formulated throughout my life, the conditioning that has been there throughout my own life, all of that type of stuff. I'm bumping up against that as I'm trying to change the actions, because the actions aren't in alignment with the beliefs that I have. So one of the beliefs that I actually had was that I was pretty ugly. And if you're my sister and you're watching this, turn away right now. But I remember as a little girl, so I was probably around 5, 6-ish, maybe even a little bit younger. And I would say to her, and I would do the whole hair toss, "Do you think I'm pretty?" And I would ask her that question. And her answer to the question was, "Yeah, you're pretty. You're pretty ugly." And that was seared into my memory. Now, for her, it might not have been a big deal. She was just messing around, she was just playing. But for me, I took that completely personally. And I allowed that to come in and permeate and decide who I was. And so I took on that persona of pretty ugly. Yeah, you're pretty ugly. And then any time in my life where people would say to me, "Oh, you are so pretty," or this is the comment that I would get, especially as I reached, I was really thin as a little person, but then when I reached puberty, I started to gain weight, and I gained weight in a big way. And I look back at those photos now and I go, "Oh my God, really? No." Looking back at the stories that I had about who I was and looking at the photos, I go, "Oh Lordy, I wish somebody had told you." All of that. But as I started to gain that weight and puberty hit and I started to gain that weight, people would come and say to me, "You'd be really pretty if you lost weight." And then carrying around the message that I had of pretty ugly, like the story that I'd taken that, yes, I'm pretty ugly, and hearing the message of you'd be really pretty if you lost weight, my internalization of that was, I can't lose weight because then I would be pretty, and I'm not pretty, I'm pretty ugly. And finding memories like that have been pivotal in me actually changing the story and going, you know what, I'm allowed to be pretty. You know what, I'm allowed to be these things, and I don't have to be that, and I can change that. I can see where that came from. I know how my little person interpreted the comment of "you're pretty ugly." I know how that little person interpreted that, and then the big person started to take on the belief of that and continue that out through her life. And so I would take then unpretty actions in order to fulfill the beliefs that I had. I hope that's making sense. Give me a thumbs up. Tell me in the comments, yes, I totally get that. I understand where you're coming from. I can see some of those things in myself. And so when we are starting to do the work of the divinely nourished, what we have to do is the work of the emotional stuff, allowing those stories to come up. And one of the elements that we will do is going on a memory hunt. Just like we're going on a bear hunt, we're going on a memory hunt, or we're going on a monkey hunt. We're going on a memory hunt. We're looking for the memories where we have created deletions, distortions, and generalizations about who we are. And where we've deleted information, where we've distorted it, and when we've generalized it to create beliefs of I am statements, like I am pretty ugly, where we've created those I am statements. So one of the activities that we're going to be deep diving into is actually going on those memory hunts. And I want to tell you that those memory hunts never end. You never get to the point where you go, okay, I'm completely done. I've done absolutely everything that there is ever to do, because if you got to that point, there would be no point you ever being here, because there'd be no more growth. But what it is like you do one layer of it. And as you shift that layer, another layer becomes present. And then as you shift that layer, another layer becomes present. And you wake yourself up to more and more of the experiences that you have. So I had this experience, and I won't go into full details because I do have some family members that come watch me in this space, and I don't want to give away too much private information that you know, they might have feelings around. But I had some beliefs around being a second-class citizen, and things that I was allowed to have and things that I wasn't allowed to have, and that there was shame attached to money, and that if you had money there was something wrong with you because of the way that I had interpreted some stuff in my childhood. And it wasn't until I was actually sitting down and I was doing my own memory hunt, which I do every so often, sit down and I go through, okay, what am I ready to start looking at differently? What am I willing to open myself up to looking in a different way? And as I was doing it, this particular memory came up of when my brother had passed away, and he was, I think around 16, no, he was around 17, 18, maybe 19. I was like a wee little person, so I was like 5, 6 at the time. So I don't have that clearest memory of the details of it. But it was this idea that I had taken on based on stuff that had happened around his death about who I was and who I was allowed to be. And when I went through my memory hunt, I realized I had deleted a whole lot of information there that would have made so much more sense if I'd actually had that information and I'd taken on that information. I'd only seen it from the point of view of myself as that 6-year-old and not been able to move myself out yet and look at, oh, here's what was going on for the adults around me in this part of my life. Here's what happened. Here's what they did here. Like, it was like this light bulb moment where suddenly, like, I had this little picture that was my memory that suddenly expanded, where I could see so much more of the picture, and I could understand why they took the actions that they did, how those actions then had follow-on effects for other things that happened in my life. And it was just this real beautiful moment where not only did I get to remove the deletions, not only did I get to remove some of the generalizations that I had created, But I also got to see my parents in a much more compassionate way, where I was able to go, I see what happened there. And I see the pain, and I see the shame, and I see the guilt, and I see all the things that happened there for them that made the next chapter what it was. And then that next chapter changed the other chapters that would have followed if that one event hadn't have taken place. The chapters in the story are different. And as I bring compassion to that, I also get to bring compassion to myself for, only looking at it in one way, or taking it on in, to mean particular things. And I get to change those. And as I change those, I then also get to own more beautiful stuff, more new stuff that is now relevant to me, because I've removed the generalizations, I've brought light to the deletions, and I've brought myself and some healing into those memories and those moments. So that's the kind of stuff that we're going to be working on in Divinely Nourished. We're going to do memory hunting. And if this is an activity you want to do, you can totally do it right now. Pick an area of your life where you want to change. So for example, it might be that you want more money in your life, or it might be that you want more love in your life, or it might be that you want more connection in your life, or it could be that you want more learning in your life, but you've told yourself this story that you're dumb, that you can't learn, or that you're unlovable, or that people always leave you. Whatever it is, write it at the top of your page. What is it that I want to be calling in? What do I want to be attracting more of in my life? And then write that down. It could be any of those things. It's completely up to you what that area is. Then what you want to do is you want to start adding, what are all the crappy beliefs I have around this? Like my one that I had there of being pretty ugly. If I'm wanting to lose weight, then I need to let go of being pretty ugly, because I've had those other people tell me, you'd be really pretty if you weren't fat. And so if I want to do whatever it is that I want, then write out those crappy beliefs and look for the memories in your life where those crappy beliefs were created. Once you have done that, once you've written out all of the ones that are coming to you, and there will only be a limit, like there'll be a limit to what comes to you in one time, because there's only so much that your subconscious and your emotions are able to get rid of at one time. You have to have resources in order to contain the things. So you'll get to a point where you go, okay, there's 5 things that have come out there that I want to, that are connected to this. There's 5 memories there. Then you want to bring conscious awareness to those memories. And you want to ask this question, and I recommend you write it down. I'm willing to see this differently. I'm willing and open to see this differently. Lord, God, angels, universe, whatever, show me, guide me in seeing this differently. And then go back through and look at those memories. Pick one, like just do one at a time. You don't have to do all of them in one go, but you can if you want to. But pick one and go and write that in great detail, what happened. Then start to look at, I'm willing to see this differently. What am I missing? What am I not seeing here? What have I deleted? What has been distorted? And what have I generalized? And then after you've gone through that and you've maybe found some of those things, you might find that they're suddenly revealed to you. The next thing is to go, are these actually true? Are these ultimately true about me? Ultimately, am I pretty ugly? Is that actually the truth about me? Ultimately, is that the truth? And then the answer, let's take the pretty ugly one. No, I'm not pretty ugly. Actually, I'm a really beautiful person, and I have lots of beautiful qualities about me. Whether you think they are on the outside or the inside, there's lots of beautifulness that comes out of me. And, you want to get into the flow of writing the truth and more of the truth around you versus the lie that came out of that belief. Then breathe into it. Love yourself crazy on it. Forgive yourself for the things that you need to forgive yourself, like carrying that around, like hurting yourself, sabotaging yourself because you've believed this lie. And then go on to another one if you want to. or just sit with that one. Because for me, every time I do one of these, like my mind is blown and I'm like, oh gosh, okay, that's going to take me a little while. I'm just going to simulate that and I'm going to align that with who I am now. I'm going to really connect into that. You might even want to take that new truth that you've written about yourself and put it up somewhere where you can see it, so that you can read through it and consistently remind yourself of it. Another beautiful thing to do with it would be to create a kind of a mantra. I get to be beautiful in all areas of my life. I get to engage in beautiful things. I get to connect with beautiful things because I am beautiful. Like, you might create a little mantra out of it. One that's, you know, if it's got rhythm, it's got energy behind it, that allows you to put it into your brain and slot that in to the new thing. Because what you're doing here is you're building new neural pathways. You're building new neural pathways to this new information. And the more you build the neural pathway into the new information, the more you delete the old pathway that you used to go to, that you would use to run your life on, that you would use as your instructions for driving your bus.